Yeah, well, maybe nicer if the mic is unmuted. Now, at least welcome back. You're at Gaming from the Heart Official. Now, this is not a gaming video, but then again. Uh, Man, I'm not even 10-15 minutes at home. Maybe 20 minutes. Should not be much longer than that. But anyways, welcome. Now, it's a little different video as we know and as we used to be. But yeah. Now, as some of you might already have seen on the description itself, or at least the title of this live stream, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the future plannings and not just recording a video, of course. Now I'm live, so I feel more personal with that. And I like that, you know? I mean, recording and all that, it's nice, but I'm a personal kind of person, you know? Personal kind of person, double words, but so yesterday I was looking something up, well, actually already days after days, and now I said somewhere very quickly in some live streams that I have recording videos, uh, that I have lots of things going on the Daewoo Matiz. Lots of things. So now I'm live streaming, I'm not driving, so I can say it easier, you know, without making too much failures. Um, so yeah, I mean, lots of things have going on in the meantime. So, well, I mean, not that I work too much on the deal with Matiz. I hope it was true. It will come. But what I want to tell you here is what I'm planning for the future, and of course, what does the gaming channel content now gets us? What does it contain for you guys? I think that's the main thing here and most important thing. I mean, of course, everyone is watching this with a purpose. They expect something. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, as I also said somewhere in my recording videos, those three-cylinder cars, well, they are pretty hard to modify. And I wouldn't say with everything, but such as headlights, taillights, signal lights, all that is a little bit harder if we talk about already ready made factory thing that you just can put on your car and you're ready. Now, what I'm talking here is you have to customize way more things than you actually do on a truck or on a V6 engine or a V8, whatever you want to call it. Of course, V6 engines, V8 engines, all are bigger things. That means also bigger cars. Or you have to do an engine swap, but I don't see a 750 kilograms car with a V8 in it. I don't think it's gonna fit. I would like to, but nope. Also, my wallet does not allow me to do that. Maybe still here in my mind, yes. That's maybe something I have to think on. Oh yes. Now, of course, there's a complete laundry list that I have. If we talk about modifying and tuning the Daewoo Matiz, it's a lot. And it's way more than normal channels you guys see. Now, of course, I mean, also I am watching other YouTube channels and I see that they're pretty hard modifying things, but I have to modify way more because three-cylinder cars like mine is a little bit, I could say, a dinky toy. Just a little play toy, you know? So it's harder to modify, it's harder to get already ready packages. So, like, I mean, I'm just gonna take you an example. If I have a four-cylinder car, 6 or 8, or maybe even 12, which, but less common. Let's take a 6, mostly common, I think, under tuners. It's pretty easy to get a exhaust manifold. It's pretty easy. Now, if I have to find for my three-cylinder car a exhaust manifold, try your best. Good luck. good luck with searching it. I mean, I think they are pretty, they should be somewhere on the internet or something, or maybe on a scrapyard, if already someone fabricated it. But it's very hard to get, if they are existing. Now, I think they are existing, maybe in Japan or something. I don't know. Good question. So, I'm gonna talk that further on that for a second. Give me a second to lighten up my cigarette. So, three-cylinder cars, of course. I mean, if I talk about spoilers, if I talk about engine modifications, such as turbos, injectors, yeah, spark plugs should not be that big issue. Wheels, you know, just rims and all. It's limited, but that doesn't mean that I am limited. You know, I mean, everything is possible, and for now, my car has maybe 51, 52 horsepower. Of course, that's something I'm gonna increase. I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, if I take my grandma's car, you know, just a very old one, just random Suzuki Alto, as example. I mean, that's an old four-cylinder car. I mean, that looks stupid ugly. And I think personally that the Daewoo Matiz looks way modern, or at least better. So, now, most important thing where we are waiting for now is, as I said already in the title, Livestream upgrade coming for the Daewoo Matiz 0.8 SE. Now, what upgrade do I mean? First, I'm gonna talk you guys what I have done yet, for the people that doesn't know and are random in my live stream. After that, I'm gonna tell you guys, and also I'm gonna let you guys see what I have ordered. So, what I have already done on my car is not too much because, I mean, of course, I'm limited currently, and yeah, I mean, there still have much to do. So what I have done at the moment is I had a very old radio in there. So, I mean, it's a basic thing. You take it out, put a new one in, done. Now, it was not that easy. I wish it was. That radio was maybe from the 1970s, maybe 1980s. I mean, it had still a tape recorder. I don't like that. I don't like a tape recorder at all. So I took it out, and what I got back in there was a Sony XPLAT, which I got from a friend of mine, and he said, "You know what, man? Here, I just got it. It's good. It's working, and maybe you can use your subwoofer and your receiver to do that." So I took that. Well, I shot somehow that old grandma style out, put a Sony XPLAT in there, which has Bluetooth and, of course, CD instead of tape. Wow, that I'm talking about tapes. That's worse. And, of course, I mean, I put a receiver and subwoofer back in my car. Now, I don't know why. I'd like to work with electricity, but in some case, I'm a little bit afraid of it. So, together with my dad, well, we just used a small, already used cable from the battery with two switches between it to the receiver. So a minus terminal to the receiver, that's directly done, and a plus terminal to the receiver. And I got already a switch on that, so I can take it off. So whenever I need to unscrew the plus terminal, it can easily hit the chassis with no problems. Unless I got false contact. Now, let's not just hope that, because that's gonna go in a very different situation. Or at least it's gonna get me in a very different situation. Now, also I had problems with the fuse, and normally if you have the terminals on there, the minus and plus, you should not, well, if it's already under electricity, you should not put fuses in there, because there is so much arc, it's crazy. Now, the first receiver was only 150 watts, pretty crazy, and I put it switches on it, as I said, between the fuse and the plus from the receiver to the battery. So, I mean, every kind of situation, pretty safe. The problem is, it's dead. It's completely fried. I think personally that the subwoofer was a little bit too overpowered. Maybe something else was going on, I don't know. But it was definitely dead. Now, I mean, a subwoofer of mine is only 450 watts, so it's not that much for a simple car. I mean, could be bigger. But the receiver didn't catch up. So the fuse was blown 6 times. And I had to drive to the gas station, which wouldn't actually deliver me my fuses that I needed for my receiver, but with a little bit of luck, they did. I blown it for a 7th time, and then I decided, nope, it's done here. I'm not gonna go any further with my receiver. I throw it out of the car, and I put a way better one in it. So instead of 150 watts peak, I put it 635 watts in there. And that gave me I should say a very good result. I mean, also the output power, I almost can say perfect. Now I can see some difference between. Let me tell you, my receiver currently for my car has a normal mode, so mono mode. It has a stereo mode and also stereo bridge mode. Now, with bridge mode active, all the power that the receiver can deliver is going straight to my subwoofer. That's what's, in this case, true. However, my receiver can handle 640 watts. My subwoofer is 450, so there is a little bit of space left. Now, however, normally you can expect that when my subwoofer is just that high as my receiver is. Then you can see differences between stereo and bridge mode. In this case, it's not. I put it already in bridge mode, and I still see differences. That should not normally be happening. I don't know if there are channels damaged, why this is occurring, but definitely it's better sound. And I have no blown fuses. That's lucky for me. Now, of course, I mean, it's a little dinky toy. It's a little, very little car. I like it. But every single thing in the car is vibrating extremely. It's only 450 watts, but the car is so small. Everything is vibrating. Really everything. And I like that. My mirrors are vibrating. My inside mirror to look in the back is vibrating. And I'm saying almost, I can see which car is behind me. So much vibration. Now, I don't care. I mean, if it's falling off, I put it back on and that's it. And if not, I'm going to use some duct tape. I mean, they can say, sorry, you have to go on a site. That's not allowed. Well, nobody said it's not allowed. So, that's one thing. As said, problems with my receiver. And I am very happy that I already solved that thing. Just give me a second. Now, so with the old receiver broken completely, and I still have to check it, what's broken exactly. And with the new receiver in, I see lots of changes on my receiver, and I'm pretty happy, really. I mean, of course, I don't expect a receiver with 2000 watts and a subwoofer of 2000 watts, because I'm only having a very weak alternator, and my battery is only 35 amps, so I cannot actually go any higher. I mean, I think this is already very high for that car with a 35 amps battery. So I think if I'm gonna go any higher, I think I'm gonna destroy the battery and maybe even more than that. And I don't like a burning car. I mean, for now, it sounds really sad, but I don't have the money for buying a new car again. So, well, there is one special thing which I really don't care. And I'm gonna tell you guys that soon. Now, I mean, of course, if I rev the engine up to its max and it's destroying the engine, then I don't care. That's the only thing. Because I'm a guy that likes to go with a high revving limit. So, and could that be bad for your engine? Yes, of course. It could be very bad for your engine. And don't worry, I turned my camera off, but I'm still here. So, revving your engine up to 5K, 6K, well, this engine could handle it. But the engine is still young. And it only has 58,000 kilometers on the clock, which is not much. It's pretty low. So that's why I can take some risks. Now, I'm also having some issues with the car currently, where I have to check on as soon as I can and as soon as I'm able to do that, that I'm getting into that phase very soon. Now, as said, the receiver that I have currently in there with 640 watts and a subwoofer with 450 watts, I gain some weight, which is not good on a very lightweighted car with only 52 or 50 bhp and 52 HP. So it's not, I mean, 52 horsepower or 50 bhp is not much. So, and of course, I'm still looking to increase the horsepower on the car as the way I go. So, of course, I need to have lots of things done yet. There have lots of things to happen, and don't worry, we all get into it in this live stream. So, don't worry about that. So the receiver, as said, is working properly, and I didn't expect, and yes, I'm back again, and I really didn't expect that the my receiver was working way better in bridge mode than in stereo mode. I thought it would be the same because there's still some space left from what I have in there. Still have almost 190 watts left. And normally the difference between stereo and bridge mode should be minor. Now the difference is still there. There is a higher punch than a subwoofer, which I like in bridge mode. So about visual things, I have not really done something. So because I'm currently working on performance, and as said, it's pretty hard to find something with styling if we talk about a Daewoo Matiz 3-cylinder car. So I wouldn't say it's not possible. I mean, everything is possible if you have the time and the money for it, but I have to be careful. So I don't want a blown head gasket or something like that. However, I think I already have, but just very, very minor. So before I'm going into the piece of upgrades, I'm going to talk with you guys first. What is currently what I have done, and what are currently my problems. As said, I already got a receiver in there with the subwoofer. That's already sure. And if we talk about performance, I also got already a cold air intake. So I just have a racing open air filter. That's what I have currently. Now, if I talk about performance, that's the only thing that I still have done, because I have to get a little bit be careful. I mean, if I spend in my private thing I said too much money, then I'm getting into trouble that I can't drive to my work. And of course, we might avoid that. So that's the reason why it's not getting very big, as said. And again, one thing we should just not forget, I'm not a mechanic, but I've tried to find lots of things, which I already do for years, on the internet. Now, the things that what's still not good on my car, and which I'm also a little bit worried about, is what I already said in one of my other recording videos. Is still the service of the car. Now, of course, I can see things that have been serviced, well, I would say pretty good. I wouldn't say perfect, because I can see things that should not be happen on 58,000 or 56,000 kilometers. I'm getting a cigarette and I'm gonna get into that very quickly. Now, the things that I'm a little bit worried about, I mean, of course we do know, and what I already told, is only a 52 horsepower engine. So, can we expect much from a 52 horsepower engine? No. We cannot expect too much. Not, at least not basic. So, what I have done here, the most thing that really is, well, I definitely would not say praying or something like that, but still something that worries me is the service of the car. Now, why I'm to say that? If I'm gonna take a look at the head gasket and some other gaskets, they are pretty rusty and somehow worn out. So, in my country, there is, yeah, how could I say that? We call it APK, and that means that they will do everything. That's a some of service. We have to do everything in the car. That has to happen so you can drive safely. So, as said, head gaskets, lots of mess, dust, mud on the engine, top of the engine itself. I also went to a car garage, or car repair garage actually, with a friend of mine just spontaneously, and the friend of mine said, you know what, hey, you need some new spark plug cables. You know what, let's get some, because my spark plug cables don't look the best. And let's say, as you know, I only have 3 cylinders, so that means 3 spark plug cables. Now, all 3 spark plug cables on my current car, well, you have that rubber, and in that little rubber thing, you have, well, something that goes on the spark plug itself. And the worst case scenario here, yes, I come there, is that metal thing is larger than the rubber, which should not happen. Because if the rubber thing is not larger as that metal thing, it's not connecting good, or at least the rubber is not holding good in place. And I got that on all 3 cylinders. So that's problem number 1. I already recognized that, and also the car garage mechanic already said from, hey, this doesn't look good. They look pretty short. So, still that is a little bit that I'm worrying about. Also, those spark plug cables that come from my distributor is shooting spontaneously loose. Yes, it's shooting loose, guys. Don't ask me how that happened. Now, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that, and I'm diving straight into the other thing again. It's a very, very strange story. Now, I was driving, or at least I was planning to drive from my home to my work. I was not even out of my street. I was not out of my straight. I was at the end. I would like to shift from third to second, and my engine stalled completely. Without stuttering, it stalled. Just like you put it in neutral and you push the brake. So I was wondering, what the heck is happening here? I saw all dashboard lights were coming on. So luckily I had a friend of mine with me, and I said, I think we might have a problem. And this time an engine problem. He looked at me, his face was turning completely red. Just like the YouTube button. That red. So I told him, you know what, I have to pop the hood, and let's see what's under the hood. What's going on exactly. And yes, my spark plug cables on the distributor shooted loose. Don't ask me how. But it's coming because of that metal thing that's on there. That's the reason why it shooted loose. Of course, I did everything that I could to put it back on. But then something completely weird and spontaneously happened. My car locked itself up with the keys inside. Now, beautiful day. Spark plug cable shoot off the distributor. Now I can't access my own car because my car is like Herbie and locked itself. Yes, it locked itself. Nobody was in there. We touched nothing. It locked itself. So, I looked at my friend, or at least a good friend of mine. He looked at me, and we said at the same time, we're fucked. So, we were completely laughing. But in the meantime, I had to go to my work. So, that means I couldn't. So, yeah, my work was doing a little bit weird, stupid, somehow. But it's fine. So, one company was driving by. And they do actually everything for the heaters in our houses. And that good friend of mine asked him if he could help us, and he had one special tool. Now, my door was completely sealed already, but a good friend of mine's door was not completely sealed. I could still put my fingers in there and try to open that door, you know? So I could still get in the interior, as long as I did not drop it. Luckily, I have some plastic things instead of metal. So, and there were cavings in it, or carvings in it. So I can push that little metal thing on the carvings so it would pop up. And if one is popping up, everything is opening. And that's what's happening, but this time I had a door not standing like this, but it's standing like that. So, yeah, it's a little problem. But we were inside the car, and we were heading to the supermarket and getting ourselves some food because we were hungry. Now, with that happened, let's get back to the story. So yeah, that's one thing that I have a problem with my car. Of course, the spark plug cables. Now, I also have a wiper problem. So my back wiper is completely vanished. It has no more profile, and the the rubber is completely vanished. And I mean, I have to get a new one. However, which way you will go? I mean, it has to be replaced, or at least repaired. Also, I have a scratch, and I mean a huge scratch in my windshield. So that has also to be fixed. But those problems are minor. It's not really worrying me. What's really worrying me is the tires. The tires and the suspension. Now, of course, I do not have yet my car so much HP or so much horsepower that my car is turning that crazy around the corners that my suspension can be broken, or my tires that can be weird or something, or worn out or unstable. That's not the case. So, now, the thing is, as long as I drive less than 50, 55 miles an hour, it's okay. Nothing is going on. car feels stable, and I can turn, well, without any issues, and everything is fine. Now, here it comes. Whenever I drive above 50, 55 miles an hour, I'm walking into some risks. And these risks are not very nice. Now, the problem is, if I'm going higher than 50 or 55 miles an hour, the car is vibrating so damn much that my complete arm is shaking. My complete arm is shaking on the steering wheel. The door is completely shaking. My interior is completely shaking, you know? So the faster I drive, the crazier it gets. So if I have 60 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour, doesn't make sense. It stays the same. And I'm thinking this problem is because of the rebalancing of the tires and also maybe just a little bit of my suspension. I'm not quite sure because I did not check it yet, but I think I should be fast with this. And I don't want, well, drive with one tire less. I think that's not a good plan. Now, of course, I mean, I said I'm driving pretty stable on the roads itself. Now, also the rear axle, and I mean the ratio for the tires itself and shifting and all that should be better. I mean, the top speed which I already got was 165 kilometers an hour, which is it's a little bit more than 100 miles an hour, and that was within a race with that car. Yes, 52 horsepower, 105 miles an hour, and yes, racing. Crazy, but it's possible. And I mean, I still have to do something because it's not giving for the most people a safe feeling. I don't actually care too much about it. I mean, it's a car, and there are not too much different or crazy noises, but still, I think it's not belonging to a car. Whenever the car is revving high up or not, it should not be there. So I know this is a problem. What problem exactly is unknown? So I have to check that. Also, another thing, what's going on my car, and it's something that's told me, and I have not yet checked it for myself, is the engine mounts. Now, the car mechanic where I was, the same for the spark plug cables. He told me if my engine mounts were damaged. And I looked at him and I said, "What do you mean damaged? This is not damaged. Three-cylinder cars should be vibrating much. That's normal." So if he is saying that, I probably need to check if my rubber bushing inside the engine mount, if that's broken or scratched or something like that. You know, just a sign that it's worn out. So these things, guys, are actually still going on my car. And before I'm putting a turbo on it or something like that, or a crazy intercooler with a blow-off valve and all these kind of shit, before I'm getting into that, I want to make sure that that problem is definitely gone. The wipers, my windshield, my door, my spark plug cables, and not to forget, most important thing, which is worrying me the most, tires, suspension. Tires and suspension is my #1 priority. I really need to check that because it's not healthy for the car. Now, as said, I'm a kind of guy that likes to rev pretty high. Well, pretty high, no, I would not say almost every time redline, because I know how it sounds when I redline it, but, well, I should say good in the area. Now, one thing, guys, that you don't know, and this is the part where it's get nicer, instead of talking about problems on the car. The thing is, I also have some content in my head, upgrades, which we should do. The thing that I already have ordered is what I'm going to show you guys very quickly. But I'm gonna show you guys not on my phone. Well, I can do actually. I can show you guys on my phone. Let's see. Oh wait, let's turn this on, go back. Okay. Let's see. Let's zoom out a bit. This is pretty huge. Now, I think this is the best one. So, what I have ordered here, guys, because 3-cylinder cars do not have a RPM gauge. This is what I ordered, people, and this is what we will get on the 7th of May. The 7th of May, this is gonna arrive at our home. And of course, I would like to make a video from this. I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? Because this is gonna be an installing video. So that's what's up. That's the upgrade which is coming. Yes, I'm a little bit excited. Because normal cars, I don't know how they connect their RPM gauges or how they measure it. But this gauge does look so good. And I mean, my car does not have an RPM gauge. It only has a tachometer, it has a fuel gauge, and it has a temp gauge. And I mean, all these gauges are on time on my dash and the side of the rail. So that's not a problem. I mean, they will be replaced anyway. Because the fuel gauge on my car is a little bit frustrating. It makes me sad, angry, I don't know. Because they have a big line and they go smaller. But the needle is doing pretty weird. So you don't know actually when your car is empty, yes or no. And that's something I don't like. But that's why we will get gauge. So of course we will get a brand new cluster gauge. But all comes in phases. Now, of course, on the 7th of May, we will get our CN Speed RPM gauge. And of course, I will not be in this home because I need to install it. And I don't want to attract attention, as said in one of my videos, from the tuner, which is on that side of me. He has a Subaru WRX STI. It's pretty tuned, I could say. Yeah. Sounds good. If it feels good, I don't know. I have never ever sitting in it. I would like to, but I never asked him. However, Subaru WRX STIs doesn't really attract my attention. Because, I don't know, the engine sound is a little bit dumb. I don't know, that heavy sound. I mean, I believe it's or 4 or 6 cylinders. Now, for 4 cylinders, okay. But for a 6-cylinder car? What? Couldn't you make a better engine? That doesn't sound like anything. I mean, if I fart on the toilet, it sounds the same. In my opinion. Sorry if you are a Subaru WRX owner or at least a fan, but that's my opinion. Now, besides that, the RPM gauge is here on 7th of May, so I'm gonna check out which day that is. I hope as close as on the Friday. 7th of May. Oh, okay. That's it. That is on Friday. So that's very good. That means on the day itself, I might be installing it. Also, recording it. Now, yes, I do record everything on my phone because the quality on that is way better. Now, maybe this is something good for you guys. Now, if you have a 3-cylinder car for yourself, and you are thinking, hey, you are gonna install an RPM gauge, how can I install mine? It's not that difficult. You have to know something, but we will get into it. But it's not difficult. So, If you find your bobbin, because three-cylinder cars have bobbins, if you have your bobbin, most likely there is a green wire inside the connector which goes in the bobbin. If you can find that, make a little space so you can see the contact and wire your signal wire from your RPM gauge to the green wire of the bobbin. The reason why is the bobbin has some pulses. It needs pulses from your spark plugs. So that's how three-cylinder cars can be measured, the RPM of the car. So, I mean, yeah, that's actually that. If it's really precise, I don't know. That's something I really don't know. But I'm thinking it's pretty precise, because if not, the engine couldn't run, right? So that's actually that. So the RPM gauge is on our way, but that's not everything. Of course not, because we will get way more stuff. And before the RPM gauge is coming, I'm still thinking, and in this case, I'm going to show you guys what I'm thinking here. And just give me a second, because I'm gonna show you guys that. And of course, I do lots of things on AliExpress, because it's a little bit cheaper. And I mean, for gouges, it's fine. Just give me a second and I'm gonna show you guys what am I gonna get. Alright, so there we go. Let's change the screen. I'm gonna change the screen here. Second. So you guys can take a look with me. Yeah, that's a good one. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to show you guys what am I doing. I'm gonna minus that. And let's see. Okay. All right, so there we go. So there you guys can finally see what are we up to. Now, in this case, people, oh, excuse me. Okay. Now, in this case, as you can see, this is also a RPM gauge, but this goes to 10K RPM, and I have not chosen for that because a very valid reason. It goes to 10K RPM, and my engine only can go up to 6. Well, a little bit more of 6. I believe 6.5. So I took, as I already said, 8K RPM. Now, the next thing I'm gonna get is not this one. This is the only one I will not get lately, because, I mean, I will not be able to reach 35 PSI. Now, this one is what we will get. Especially in the beginning, I only can reach 1 bar in boost if we have 115 horsepower. 113, 115 horsepower. Then we will get this gauge. So this is something I said already for a little bit later. When I got the injectors and repairs and all that done, this is coming anyways. If the MAP sensor reads out that I get more boost, or that I can have more boost, that the engine can handle it, then of course I'm going for this one. I mean, it's better. If it can handle it, as said. The next one is vacuum, but this one is not something I am gonna install because, I mean, if I have a vacuum leak, I definitely will feel it if I have a turbo on it. If not, you're stupid. So, second thing, we will not get. The water temp, of course, is something we get, but I think I'm gonna connect this one with the coolant temp. I'm not gonna connect this one with the water temp itself. I mean, I'm just gonna put it on a coolant temp. I think that's the best thing I can do here. Also, this one can go not to 120, it also can go up to 140. And it is already on 40 degrees Celsius, which I like. Normally it starts out at 80. Next thing, oil temp, not to forget. I mean, if I have a turbo, it's really, really important. And if I have a turbo that spools up for 100%, I should expect a temperature of 120 degrees oil temp. Or 110. But then you have to get full throttle. So if you have more than that, it's gonna be a good thing to service your car. Oil pressure, not sure. I might get it, but that's something, I don't know. It's something I'm a little bit twisting on. Yes, no, not sure. Next thing is volts. Is also one of the things that I will probably get pretty soon. And this one is, well, I would not say the first, but maybe it is, maybe it is not. Depends on what I will get. Now, air to fuel ratio might be already becoming handy, and maybe also the arrow is currently pointing good. And why I'm saying this is that my sensor on my car, on my air sensor that goes in my air box for the air filter, it's a little bit low, so it cannot read the air too good. So it might be on the lean side, might be on the rich side. Also, this one might be pretty quick coming, but it's definitely not the first that's coming. That's for sure. Not to forget exhaust temp. Now, that's not something difficult to make. I mean, just go to the exhaust manifold, make a hole in it, something that that can hold the sensor and that it can read the exhaust temp. Should not be a big deal. And this one, of course, we will get. I get one time this is coming on my dash, but might get me into trouble. Why? This one, this one, as you, come on. As you can see, it's straight. Now my dash is actually doing this. So I have to see what I'm gonna do with it. I think I'm just going beneath my dash, like in the very old muscle American cars. I don't know. We will see. Maybe I'm just gonna put one on it. That's no problem. Or maybe two. We will see what's possible. Now, the other thing that I will get, of course, is the thing that is on the side. Now, here is also, this is carbon fiber, and it's pretty cheap for carbon fiber. Everything is measured on 52 millimeters. Everything is also from CN Speed. I want everything the same brand. And definitely what's going in there is the boost gauge, maybe the oil temp, I don't know, and maybe later the tachometer. Not sure. RPM gauge, sorry. We will see. We will see where it gets us. Now, the air filter is not needed anymore because I already have it. And the rest I already got. Now, there is the bottom one, which I already said, is, of course, gonna be the same. Gonna be this one. But then with new clusters, of course. I mean, I don't want this old. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I mean, it's coming beneath my dash. So, yeah. I think that's that. So, it's a pretty huge haul that we will get into. Now, of course, I'm still also trying to find things that might be pretty good for performance. So, yeah. So that's already a little thing, and everything has to be installed separately. because I'm not gonna buy everything in one package. I'm gonna do just every single step. I'm not gonna walk too fast in my path, or at least in the tuning and racing path. I'm gonna take it easy, easy, you know, not too slow because I mean it's not that it's not meant to happen that my channel falls quiet. Definitely not. But yeah, I think we should take care of things. Now, the first thing, of course, that has to happen on my car, how I try to turn my way. The first thing that I have to do is the wipers, is my windshield, that scratch which is in my window, and there are lots of things to do. Too much, way too much. So I think that's really important. I mean, also, one thing that I forgot, my pedals, brake pedal, clutch pedal, and acceleration pedal should be chromed out. So I'm gonna also replace that, especially for the clutch pedal. I tried to speed shift lots of times, and the side broke a little bit off. So I think it's a good idea to replace that. So yeah, and in this case, I only have shown you guys a little bit. I did not show everything because some of my components that I have searched for, I'm not sure if it's gonna fit, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna show and promise you guys something that I cannot make come true, you know? I mean, if I'm gonna tell you guys tomorrow I'm gonna build a turbo, then I'm lying fully because that's not happening, you know? And I don't want that you guys get expectations from me which are not even there, you know? I want you guys to expect something which is really meant to happen. So that's that. I mean, we are already on 55 minutes live stream, guys. It's a large live stream. But in this live stream, you will get, as said already, lots of information. Instead of a very quick video, I think it's very important to have some information. I mean, I feel you guys like to know that, you know. I mean, it's not that that it must happen, but I feel like it must have happened. You know what I mean? It's a personal thing, but positive. Thinking straight out. Slammer's energy. Favorite. Man, that could be sour from my battery. Yeah, just give me a second. All right, so I think personally that I have told you guys lots of things that have to come on our path. So, wow. We are almost on an hour. Can you imagine that? 1 hour needed for explaining lots of things. But as said, I mean, I'd like to keep things personal. No, not private personal, but personal. From me to you. This is life. I'm in the screen, you know? I'm talking right now. And not 3 hours later when I'm uploading. That's what counts for me. So, yeah. So, Oh, by the way, one other thing that I have to tell you guys. Now, as said yesterday, I already purchased the RPM gauge. So before I'm gonna get too fast into things, make sure as soon as this is gonna arrive on the 7th of May, make sure you watch that video, okay? Because the tricky thing is it gonna work properly? Not every engine can handle a RPM gauge. So that's gonna be nice, I think. But yeah, that's it. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. Now, the other thing what I would like to tell you guys, of course, also in one of my videos, I was telling you that, well, that I would like something where I can hang my phone on, or that it stands somewhere, you know? So today I was going with two, well, two friends of mine, girlfriends, not my girlfriends, but girlfriends. And we were going to a store where they also had phone holders and also one for the windshield. Now, I mean, of course, I was looking for the one on the windshield. Now, I bought that one and tried it out, and it broke off immediately. Now, beautiful. Number one was ruined. I was going back, got my money back, going back in the store, bought the second one, and that one was completely vice versa. It was going into the vent shaft, so this time not on the windshield, but on the vent shaft where your heater is from. The other one was broken off because of force, and this one was not even going in there with lots of force. So that was completely vice versa. So I could not understand why it was not holding in place. So I brought that one back, and I was done there. So, well, less likely I ended up with empty hands. I was hoping that I could get something for my windshield. Well, for my phone, but on the windshield. Now, the best case scenario was, of course, a GoPro Hero. That's the best thing, but that's not something that we have now. So let's hope that we will get it very soon. Well, actually, I already said that I was planning to do that quick, and that I already actually should have it, the GoPro Hero, so I'm gonna search it for it. Just something. Of course, with 4K resolution. I don't want anything else. Mm-hmm. Not bad. So I'm looking up here, and let's see. I think this is. I think this should be 60 FPS. It's also going on Wi-Fi signal. There can be a micro SD in there. LCD touch, yes. Anyways, so that's something I still have to get. But nonetheless, I think this was the video, people. Now, if you are still here, or if you're still listening to it, make sure that you follow my channel, and I mean that you subscribe it, that you like the video. And let's hope on the 7th of May that my package is arriving very quickly. So when it's arriving, I'm of course driving to my dad's house to build it in there. And we'll see. Let's hope we can do it correctly. Anyways, guys, this was Gaming from the Artificial. I'm signing out, and I see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned for the video on the 7th of May.